Hey, good afternoon. Real quick lesson on watercoloring because some of you seem to be skipping that portion of the video. I want you to be able to watercolor using this technique, and I want to be seeing that evident in your work, okay? First of all, I'm right-handed, so my brush, my towel, my water are on my right side. I have an assortment of markers here. You usually have those on your table. I even have some colored pencils here just in case I want to use them. Remember that if you are going to use colored pencils on watercolor paper, not a problem. They work great. Matter of fact, they work beautifully. Why? Watercolor paper is rough. It's got a bit of a bumpy quality to the surface. Like a sandpaper, it wears down on the tip of the pencil very rapidly. So here when I put this yellow down on top of my purple, no surprise, I get kind of a deep gray color. Perfect for shading, okay? We don't want black, we might want a gray. Matter of fact, the advantage of putting down pencil first is you can shade, add those areas of deeper value in any color you wish to. We'll paint right on top of that with other watercolor colors, and they will blend. They will go over the pencil marks, and they will blend with the pencil marks. So here I'm just having some fun blending pencil by itself right now. On the dry paper, you can see you can do an awful lot with pencils on the dry paper, but let me put the pencils down and pick up some markers so we can do a little coloring with those. I'm going to see if I have a green here. I don't. That's okay. I don't have a green marker, but guess what I do have? I have a yellow and a blue. Well, yellow and blue make green. Plus I have a little purple already on the paper and a little yellow already on the paper. What if I do this? What if I go ahead and mix a little bit of yellow here? Now this is yellow marker. Notice how I'm coming in from my right so I can clearly see where that yellow is going. That's very important. Let's turn the paper. Notice how I turn the paper. Again, coming in from my right. Look at that. The yellow going over those pencil colors. You can see how the color of the pencil underneath is modified by the yellow. That's kind of cool. Now remember, I want to come up with a green. Now I could use a blue-green, but let's make ourselves a green. Let me come over here. Again, turning the paper so I can get the blue placed exactly where I want it. Being generous with the amount of blue that I use. Snap that cap. Now I'm going to blend the blue and the yellow together. Remember, when you're handling a brush, that brush always has to have a point on it. If that brush does not automatically point itself when you pull it out of the water, you do not use that brush. Why you need a point? Well, here's the reason. You need that point for control, just like you need a point on your pencil for control. So again, the brush must point all by itself, no help. When you pull it out of the water, pull it against the lip of the container, pull it against the paper towel, it's got a point on its own. If somebody's been beating up on the brush, misusing the brush, it's just not going to hold its point. Let's go in here with the watercolor brush, dissolve that blue, begin to move it out into the yellow. You see where the two come together to form a green. Not only do I have a green, but I have a sense of the yellow underneath and I have the blue. So I've got some beautiful mixtures of color right there on top of my pencil color. All of that will dry and be pretty much looking exactly as you see it right now. I have a little bit of green left in the brush. Here it goes. I'll lay it down on this yellow, so that little bit of green that was in the brush, a mixture that came from over here, is now over here mixing with that yellow. If you want to wash your brush, you can dry it out, put it down beside you. I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to go with this color, this raspberry color right here. And I've got to be a little careful. I'm going to put it right next to this area of light green. Now the two could bleed together if I'm not careful. I'm trying to be careful. If they bleed together, it may look sloppy, so just be careful if you're putting one wet surface next to the other. Again, go in here with the tip of your damp brush. There's clean water in the brush. Dissolve that color, begin to pull it back into the other areas where you want it to fill, where it's going to be a little bit lighter. And I'm done. I'm done with that right now. I'm leaving that alone. I'm going to turn the paper, maybe approach this side with another color. Let's try this color right here. This is blue-green. And you know, it could be that I don't even want to use my brush at all. Let me just put down the blue-green all by itself. It is, after all, pretty much a transparent pigment. I can see it like a watercolor there, nice and intense. Don't think I need to do any more to that. Now this flower is looking pretty good up here. Let's try this red. Let's see what happens when red goes over purple. Now purple has red in it as well as blue. These two colors should go get good together. It's just going to give me more of a purplish color, maybe a red violet instead of a violet. Let's put the red there, and then turning the paper again so I can see where that point is going. Turning the paper again, being very generous with the amount of color I put in there, snapping that cap when I'm done, putting the marker back where I can find it, controlling the amount of water in the brush, And here I go with the tip of the brush, dissolving that red, bringing it out and around in the rest of that area. Again, turning the paper as needed to dissolve the color. Use the tip of the brush for control. Placement should be accurate if you're going to show me good technique. And there you go, there's the red right there. Now I can continue on with red, but I think I might want to switch to an orange because yellow and red make orange, and those two colors are kind of similar. Being careful not to have wet next to wet. Let's put an orange there, that looks good. Put an orange there, and an orange there. And maybe snap that cap, put some more yellow down here. You do not have to blend colors, but you can if you want to. Snap that cap so it doesn't dry out. Pull out extra water, either on the towel or on the lip of the cup. Go in, dissolve the color, move it around, and leave it alone. Do not overwork it, okay? Use the tip to get it exactly where you need it, and then don't mess with it anymore. There is speed to this, but there's also precision. You don't go so fast that you make a mistake. You kind of slow down. Now I have a little bit of orange here in the tip. Do I want to use that anywhere? Not really. So I'm going to wash that out, dry it out. I have the stem of this left over. I think I might go back in here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to watercolor that. I'm just going to go back in here with just a regular old green pencil. It's going to go on top of the purple. That's going to neutralize the purple. Purple is made with red and blue. Green is made with blue and yellow. Yellow, red, and blue, that's all your primaries. You're going to get a nice gray over here to the side of the stem, which I'm getting. Good combination, this light green and that purple, giving you a nice effect of a stem that's brightly lit on one side, a little duller on the other side. I'm done. Now, when the watercolors are dry, you can go back on top of them and correct mistakes with marker, correct mistakes with pencil, do some additional blending with pencil, do some additional blending with marker. This paper is great. Use watercolor paper for this. Remember, follow my example. Use the markers, the brush, the towel, and the water cup, remember the lip, as I showed you, okay? Now, you try.